This is day 3, saying goodbye to my husband. I have been married for 38 years, and my husband recently passed from an angiosarcoma cancer. And this is the countdown to his celebration of life and just how I'm making it through. Today was very emotional. I think I used a lot of my energy, my mask energy on yesterday when I had my tattoo, and I just needed a little bit more to get through the day. And today the major task was the dentist's office. I had recently, backstory, I had a root canal. Had a root canal done on a tooth, and if you know anything about a root canal, it's a 2-step process. You get the root canal, and then you come back to get a cap. My procedure was interrupted by me taking care of my spouse. I didn't have a lot of time for me, so I was working, taking care of him, and I didn't have the opportunity to go in to get the cap. So eventually the root canal didn't take anymore, and I had to have the tooth pulled. It was in an awkward place. It was like right at the corner. So at a smile, you're going to see it. You probably see it in some of my other videos where that gap was. When my husband was in the hospital and he was getting really, really weak, and I know that his fight was getting very, very difficult, I wanted to make him comfortable. So he is, he wants to take care of everyone. So I made a bunch of promises to him, just really to let him know that whether he wants to fight or whether this fight was over, everything would be okay. So all those things that he would worry about, I would tell him one by one how they would be taken care of. He was big on dental health. So I told him, don't you worry. I am going to get this tooth done. I'm going to get it done. I'm going, because I was in the implant process. So that's a longer process than a root canal. And I was on the last stage. So all they needed to do was the final step for the implant in order for me to finish that. So I promised him that I will have that done. Probably, I would say it was maybe the next day that was his last day that he took his last breath and he passed away. So now that I've shipped off the clothes, now that I got a memorial tattoo, now that it's getting closer to the day we need to put him to rest, I am going to the dentist's office to finalize this implant process. Went to the dentist's office, sat in a chair. This should be about a 15-minute, if that, appointment, because now all I have to do is secure the implant. Go in, dentist comes in, he maneuvers, put the implant in, and I can feel that there's a bit of a struggle. He calls in his colleague, and they kind of talk amongst each other, try a couple of other things, and then he looks at me and he says, we're going to have to send this implant back in because they need to make adjustments to the implant. I broke down. I broke down so bad in that dental chair, and all I could continue to say was, but I promised him I'm not going to have a tooth. And I promised him, and just like the tears just flowing. And I just couldn't stop. So here is this dentist, has no idea what's going on or what I'm talking about. I had talked to the hygienist when we're walking down the hallway and they're asking how you're doing. And I did tell her that my husband has passed. So she relayed that message to him, so he kind of understood. And once I was able to gather myself, he looked at me and he said, let's just come up with a plan, and it's going to be a temporary plan, but I need you to get back in here, after the service. And I said, whatever needs to happen, I just need to have something. And he worked it out for me. He worked it out for a temporary solution, and he was able to put that temporary implant in until I can get in the following week. And that moment, he didn't have to do that. He didn't have to have that compassion for me, and he did. He's not a therapist. I know that I probably backed up a schedule because my appointment was like supposed to be 15 minutes, and I'm sure I was in there almost an hour. And I do apologize for that, but it's just, I never know when I'm going to have these breakdowns. And if you're going through this, I'm sure you probably, maybe it was in the grocery store, maybe it's at home and looking at your spouse's clothes, or it's just little things that will just take you to a different place. So all I can say is I made it another day. And that is all I am looking to. I'm not expecting a whole lot, but I did. I made it, and thank God for those angels that are around me that I have selected as providers, those who are friends, those who are family members that are there for me when I have these moments. So I made it. I made it another day.